with wedding photographer based in San Diego. I had so many requests on my recent Q&A request video for me to talk about how to use your wedding photos in your home after the wedding is over. And I think that's a fantastic topic. So to jump right in, the first thing I want to say is that somebody did pose the question of like, how do you do this without just having the home filled with wedding photos? So the first is like, choose them sparingly, okay? So mix your wedding photos with maybe your engagement photos. Instead of doing just photos of you and your spouse, you could also include some of you with your family or you with your bridal party. So you can really mix it up. But just make sure that you don't have every single photo in your house from your wedding. You could do it with your engagement photos as well, or just like older photos from different events in your life. So that's kind of the way that you make sure it's not overwhelmingly wedding-y. Again, I think engagement photos are great because they don't look like wedding photos. You're in different outfits. So that's a great thing to print around your home as well. Or if you're traveling, like photos from your travel, that's a great thing to mix in. Now, the first thing is prints. Prints are something that people can enjoy all throughout the house. So wall prints like the ones I have behind me, that's a triptych, meaning a series of 3. Those are quite large. I want to say the prints are maybe like 20 by 24, and then the middle is like 20 by 20, and they're all matted and framed. I love large wall prints. If you're going to do smaller photos on the wall, they tend to look best either in small spaces or in a collage. Collages can be really fun. I am going to attempt to do one in my office on a blank wall I have, but I'm a little scared of like how it's gonna look, what kind of frames to use, because I don't want to use all the same kind of frame. But anyways, we'll get to that at some point when I do an office tour. So prints are fantastic. You can hang them on the wall, you can have them on the fridge, you can have them on like a coffee table or a mantle somewhere. So they're really versatile. Personally, I think sizing wise, 8 by 10 is not really wall size unless it's in a collage. People get scared when they hear like 20 by 24 or 30 by 36. That seems like it's really, really huge, but if you have a big enough space, then I think it works perfectly. Don't be afraid of large wall prints. They're beautiful. They make such an impact, and I absolutely love them. That said, when we are typically printing large prints for our home that have us in it, normally those are wider shots with an architectural element, and we are quite smaller. So it's not like a 20 by 24 like right of our faces and like, hi, hello, like welcome to our home. It's us a little bit smaller, like you can see us perfectly, but it's really like a beautiful landscape shot. That's what we personally like to do because we didn't want our faces like a foot wide, like on the walls. But that was just us. You might want a really tight portrait that's huge and massive. That's great. For us, it just wasn't what we wanted to do. But prints are a really great way to go. They are something that people can walk by, enjoy. Every time you see them, they're great. Now, the other product that you guys could have is an album. I personally love an album because it contains so many photos in one space. So it's something that is really beautiful to have on your coffee table. You can flip through it constantly. When people come over to your home, they can go through your wedding album. It's a really great conversation piece. It's something that's really beautiful. And even though you've got maybe like 100 photos from the wedding, they're contained in one book. So it doesn't feel overwhelmingly like wedding everywhere. So that's one of my favorite pieces. I am going to be ordering our own wedding album soon, which I'm so excited about. It's probably gonna be really massive, probably like a 12 by 12 and as big as they can make it, just because I really want a large piece. I'm a huge fan of albums. They're just like, I don't know, I just think they're great. I have a video about albums up here, I hope I will put it in if I do, but that's pretty much that. There are also canvas prints, which are not like, if you've ever seen a canvas print, it's basically a digital image printed over an artist type canvas, so they have a lot more texture. Those never need glass, they can just hang on their own. You could frame it, but typically they're quite thick because it's canvas stretched over a wooden frame, like an internal frame, and that's really fun if you want something that's more textured, has a more painterly look. Now, in terms of other products, sometimes people will get like fridge magnets or buttons or like little small things. I don't particularly bother with those. I like more impactful pieces. Another thing you guys could do would be like an image box. An image box is kind of like an album, except the prints can come out of it. So you could put one on the easel at a time, swap it out, but then there's also this beautiful box there with the prints inside of it. I do a lot of those for boudoir sessions, but you could also do it for wedding or a bridal session. It's something that's just kind of fun, a little bit different than an album because you can take it out, you can display it differently, but still has that nice like closed up in a lovely box feeling to it. Now to jump back just a little bit, you guys could also use your engagement stuff for the wedding day. So you could have your engagement photos in a wedding guest book, and then that guest book can be displayed in your home somewhere, again on your coffee table. So it's just a nice, like, fun little thing to have that's not from wedding photos, but it still relates to your wedding day because it is what guests signed or wrote an answer to a question you asked inside of. So it's kind of something fun to have around. People will enjoy looking through that to see who was at your wedding, what they had to say, all sorts of things like that. So that's another really great thing that you can do for your home that is actually from your engagement photos. That is pretty much it when it comes to products in your home from your wedding. Again, you could have like standard prints, you could have canvas prints, you can have your album, you can have your image box. If you want little tiny things like magnets or whatever from your wedding, do that too. But these are mostly the main products that at least I offer for a wedding day. I tend to be a little bit more on the side of like larger, more impactful products or something like really tangible that can be shared and enjoyed with all sorts of people. That's mostly it. Like you can get creative and do something like a metal print or just anything like different like that, but I love the more classic feel of things. I think that they are a lot more timeless, but if you don't want timeless, if you want something really funky, then go for funky. Just find somebody who offers it. Now, when it comes to where to get your products from, I hate to say like do it from your professional photographer because it's probably going to cost you more, but you are going to get a higher quality going through your professional photographer. There's just really like no way to argue that. They have access to professional labs that have higher quality papers and inks that are not going to fade over 20, 30 years. It's going to hold up a lot better. The quality is going to be there. If you compare like a Shutterfly album to an album that I sell, for example, you can immediately tell a difference in quality. You can see the glue a lot of times in a Shutterfly album. The structure is just not holding as well. It might fall apart a lot sooner. Not to say there's anything wrong with doing like a DIY Shutterfly album or something like that, but if you think about it, it is a large investment to go through professional. However, you should be guaranteed to have those products like basically on your deathbed. They should last that long and longer. You should be able to pass them down to your children without them falling apart. So that it is something to keep in mind that yes, you will be paying more for professional. However, it will last you longer. It's sort of like if you buy, you know, a pair of shoes from like Walmart and they fall apart after like a couple of months, whereas if you had maybe spent a little bit more on a higher quality brand, they would have lasted you a lot longer. So by the time you buy multiple pairs of those Walmart or Target shoes, which you're not hating on either, it's just a known fact that you might have spent just as much money as if you had bought that one nice thing. So just something to keep in mind. I know it can cost more, but I often think it is worth it. And the nice thing about doing it professionally is you don't have to fool with it yourself. You don't have to design the album yourself. You don't have to spend the time choosing all those pieces. It is a service that is done for you and a product that is given to you, and it is so much less work for you to have your professional do it. Oftentimes they can design an album much faster and much more beautifully and cohesively than a bride or groom who's never done it before. And honestly, if I was not a professional photographer, I would not design my own album. I would have the photographer do it. But because that's what I do constantly, I am going to design my own. But I also have access to a wonderful album lab. So that's again another reason why I am going professional through my own self. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have a love for printed, tangible photos, which I really hope you do, they're so much better than just staring at a photo on your screen, then this video is definitely something that I hope you take at least some of the product ideas and put them in your home. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!